Hello, 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 and welcome to today's Mindset Monday. I have a very special topic that I want to get into today. It's all about helping you learn how to overcome self sabotage and learn how to achieve success in your leadership, in your career. And the lessons that we teach here even go forward, and you can use them to apply in your personal life. Before we get started today, for those of you that do not know me, because the community is growing very rapidly, my name is Yashika Lynn. I am the founder and CEO of the Lynn Group. We do two things here at the Lynn Group. Number one, we are very passionate about high performance principles. We're experts in high performance. We live in a high performance lifestyle. We teach high performance to individuals, and we are really passionate about bringing this style of leadership and mindset into the healthcare space because it is what's been proven to create lasting results without burning leaders out. So, number one, that's what we do. And number two, we also, because of our expertise in leadership and high performance, we also understand how to operationalize or improve operations in delivery systems. So we also help with that. So just for those of you that don't know what we do or are new to this audience, this is what we're here for. On Mondays, especially, we come in and we do an episode almost every week talking about things that we can do to elevate our mindset to be that of a high performing person in every aspect of our life. That's primarily what we do on Mondays. And then if you need more, because the mindset is the biggest piece, the internal psychology, who you are when you're doing the things is the most important thing. The second thing, yeah, you're going to need some practical tips and tricks and all those things on actually the tasks that you need to do very well to be a better leader. So if you want that type of information after you get done listening to Mindset Mondays over here, head on over to the new Leading in Healthcare community. Over in the community, we actually have lessons. We have one big lesson a month, but then on Fridays, I pop in and we just do some more tactical, more practical things around leadership, like how to communicate better, how to have difficult conversations, that type of thing. So that's another resource that you can have in your back pocket as well. So without further ado, I always have notes because I like to nerd out on certain things like this. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Special announcement though, next week I will be doing I got to get my little calendar out. I'll be doing a LinkedIn Live, and the topic for the LinkedIn Live on April 19th at noon Central Standard Time will be focused on burnout. Burnout doesn't have to be related to your job. There may be some stressors and other factors. In fact, usually there are some stressors and other factors going on in your personal life, compounded with the things that you have to deal with in work that actually relate to burnout. And so if you want to check out that live stream, it's going to be April 19th on LinkedIn at noon Central Standard Time. Also, for some reason, those that don't know me, when I start talking, for some reason my nose starts running. It's only on the videos, though. It's kind of weird. Okay, so anyway, so today we are going to be talking about mindset mastery, specifically as it relates to overcoming self-sabotage and achieving success in your career, in your leadership style, personally and professionally. As a leader, you probably already know this, but it's important for you to have a mindset of growth. You need to be able to have a positive outlook on the future, and you need to be able to not only activate yourself behind moving forward in a positive way toward strategic outcomes and all of the things, but you also need to be able to activate your team, activate the people that you lead to also move in the same direction with the same attitude. But the problem is that, again, because of maybe some past things or current things that are happening to you at work, as well as maybe personal things happening to you, there are some underlying behaviors of self sabotage and thoughts and patterns from your conditioning and your upbringing that actually are subtly undermining your ability to move forward optimally and move forward in a successful way without sabotaging yourself. And self sabotage can be very dramatic. It can, you could just outwardly not want to move forward and just negatively say no. And when it gets to that point, you can see this happening in other people, and you probably can feel it happening in yourself where you want to do something or should be doing something, but you don't do it. Sorry, the window's open. However, it can be subtle. You don't know how many leaders that I've worked with that when we first started working together, there are these negative patterns of self talk, self doubt, and limiting beliefs. And we all have these to some extent or another. But you have to understand that your potential is only going to reach as high as your limits or your ceiling that you've internalized for yourself due to your experiences, your conditioning, and all of the things. So, therefore, your potential for most people when you have these things in place, talking to yourself negatively, this negative thought loop that's in your head, doubting yourself on certain things that you want to put in place in your life, or when you know that you need to move forward, talking yourself out of these certain things, or not really showing up fully in your authentic self, expressing yourself because you are scared what other people think. All of these things are limiting factors that prohibit your ability to reach your highest potential. And so that's why we're talking about this self doubt. And if you believe that you're not good enough, what starts to happen is your ability to lead effectively starts to be diminished. It's interesting. I was just on a call a couple of weeks ago, and it was interesting that this particular person felt that even though thought that they were hiding all of these things, that and that it wouldn't impact their career, they were surprised to learn that it does. So even if you think that I hope I'm expressing that right. So even if you think that you may have these negative thoughts and all the things, and no one knows about it because you're not verbalizing it effectively, you have to understand that people can pick up on vibes or energetics of human beings. And so even if you aren't outwardly expressing it, by this stuff happening in your internal psychology, it still is impacting your ability to create lasting personal and professional success. So I want to put that out there. Um, Anyway, so it impacts your ability not only to lead effectively in your professional life, but also to lead the things that you want to occur and take shape and take form in your personal life. And so you're more likely to be someone that doesn't move forward when you should. You procrastinate. When there's challenges, you either avoid the challenges or you retreat from the challenges, or you half-ass the challenges. Or what you do is, because maybe you have stopped believing in yourself or don't trust yourself, and other factors go into that as well, you start to settle for mediocrity. A lot of times when people get stuck, and this is probably, or maybe you may be stuck in a comfort zone and you feel like you don't want to move forward, rather than admit that a lot of the reason why you're not moving forward is because of having this self-sabotaging mindset and beliefs and behaviors. Rather than admitting that, you will say that you don't really want it, you're happy where you are. If you went to a certain level, it would be too much work, or I would have diminishing returns on my finances, or whatever it is. You say whatever it is that you need to say to rationalize the fact that you're playing small in your life, and then you stay there. And so you end up at the end of your life in this state of mediocrity, when you know that deep down in your heart, you've had these conversations with yourself about the things that you woulda, shoulda, coulda done. And I don't mean it in a regretful way. I mean it in this way where you have this energy that's trying to push you forward and do something or accomplish something. But instead of listening to that energy, you ignore it and pretend like it's not there and continue to do the same thing over and over again and settle for less. So that's what I'm talking about in this particular instance. The good news is, and this is why people like me do the work that we do, is you don't have to live like that all of the time. It is a challenging mindset, and there are particular frameworks and steps that you need to take to change your mindset. But your mindset and your thoughts are and your feelings, they're not necessarily facts, and they can be overcome with the proper knowledge and the proper training. And so when you learn to master your mindset, you will learn to diminish these self-sabotaging behaviors, etc., and start to develop a mindset that is more aligned with success in your healthcare leadership, and make a positive impact not only on yourself, on the team that you lead, on your organization. And remember, healthcare is an ecosystem, so you are ultimately creating a better community by you doing the internal work to adopt a more high performing, more optimal mindset. So, the first thing you need to do is learn how to become aware. If you don't start to really do some introspection, some reflection, living and approaching life from a more centered state, then you're not going to understand why it is that you think and feel and do the things that you do in life. And so, you by becoming self-aware, especially of what we're talking about today, your self-sabotaging beliefs, thoughts, and behaviors, you're going to be able to then move on to this second step that I'm going to give you. Now, the way that you can start to do this on your own is through self-reflection exercises. And for some of us like me that have been doing it for a while, you can actually just sit and think. Give yourself time to actually think, and then don't just think surface level. Now, critically think about the thoughts and feelings that are coming up for you, instead of just accepting them as first truth because you think or you feel them. So that's what you may hear some people say: become the observer of your thoughts, your feelings, yourself. That may be a little bit too advanced. So, for a lot of what I see to be the most effective way to start to do this is through journaling. Journaling, if you do it right, can be a very effective tool for you to be able to get your feelings and your thoughts out on paper. And then again, instead of looking at them to be truth, then you start to analyze why these thoughts and behaviors are occurring and what is the root cause of them, because you will start to gain understanding about why you have these loops going on, so that you can learn to self correct the things that are causing you to self sabotage. If you have tried this in the past and you have trouble, then I always say this in almost every presentation, every speech that I do, is that if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're expecting different results, then, like Einstein said, you're practically insane. So it's not going to work no matter how fast you do it, how hard you do it. If you do it more, it's not going to work if it's not working for you, the things that you've been trying on your own. So you also may need a little bit of help talking to somebody that can help facilitate this process of bringing these things out of you and helping you gain awareness of where it is that these thoughts and beliefs are causing you to self-sabotage your life. So then secondly, you need to learn to challenge thoughts. So once you start to pull them out and observe them and critically think about them, a lot of times what you're going to find is that while sometimes the thoughts that you have around this negative self-talk and this doubt could be true, ultimately they're not always true. They're not ultimate truth, and they're not true because if you can find evidence of it not being true in your own life or in someone else's life, then it means that it probably is not true. And so you have to start to learn to challenge self-sabotaging thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. One way that you can do it is to start to ask yourself if the belief is serving you. And ultimately, any of these negative beliefs, I don't care how much you think that they're true currently, right now, in the current state of where you are in your psychology and your performance, I don't care where you are. If you are having self-sabotaging thoughts, then the answer is going to be emphatically no, the thought is not serving you, and that is probably not true. And so when you start to ask, is the thought serving me or is the thought true? Then the second part of the second step is going to be to replace it with a more positive and empowering thought. I teach the people that I work with, and I think a lot of people that know a lot about rewiring your subconscious are going to teach you that the fastest way to start to get on board with adopting new thoughts, behaviors, beliefs is not to try to fight so hard to get rid of these underlying limiting beliefs and thoughts and all the things. When you uncover them, it's going to be learning how to adopt new and better beliefs and thoughts and behaviors. And that is the actual key to successfully rewiring yourself into the person that you want to become and creating this lasting change in behavior. So then the third step that I'm going to share with you today is about then taking action, right? You can't just do the two parts of what I'm talking about. So you uncover the information and then not do anything with that information. Then when you are starting to replace these limiting thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs with the new and better thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs that actually are going to serve you, then you need to put them into action to overcome your fear of failure, your fear of success, your fear of rejection, whatever it is going to be for you. And this can be done by not being someone that gets overwhelmed by focusing on the bigger outcome of what it is that you're trying to achieve. You already know. So, yes, you need a destination. Yes, you need an outcome. But then the thing that you're going to be focusing on taking action toward is breaking your actions, your goals into steps, implementing these new beliefs down into steps, into smaller, more manageable steps. And then you take action toward it every day. So that is something that I teach my clients how to do. You have to kind of know what's holding you back or identify it so that you can do the opposite or do differently from what's holding you back. And then from there, it's just about consistently putting these little practices into play in your life in order to start to solidify the rewiring that you're doing through the self-reflection and the replacement of the thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs in your reflective practices. And again, this is about progress. You're going to start to make progress. You're not going to be perfect when you're doing this because you're basically changing who you've been for a very long time, or it wouldn't be hardwired in your brain, and starting to create a process or initiate the process of now rewiring new things into your brain. So you're going to have to be patient with yourself because there's going to be times where you're not going to hit the mark. Through this practice, through these steps that I've given you in this Mindset Monday, remember, you need to be practicing self-care. You need to be prioritizing your mental health. And a lot of the times when we're feeling the way that we feel, when we're down on ourselves, when we feel stuck, when we're in a comfort zone, it actually creates this cycle of decreased momentum where we don't really feel like moving forward or doing certain things. And so what you need to understand is activities like meditation, spending time with people that you care about, taking care of yourself, the basics. We all know the basics: sleep, right? Eat better, move your body. All of those things are going to help you to bring in stronger feelings of confidence and resilience so that you have the energy and the capacity to deal with this process of creating this lasting change in your life and overcoming self-sabotage. All right. So by mastering your mindset and by overcoming this self-sabotage, you can achieve the success of a healthcare leader. It's totally possible for you to do it and to make a positive impact, again, not just in your professional life, but you can also take what I've taught you and apply it to your personal life. And remember that you often don't have power over a lot of things that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But one thing that you do have control over, and you may not have been taught how to do this, but it's control over your thoughts and your behaviors. And so if you like what you've heard and you feel like, again, whatever you're trying to do, whether it be professionally or personally, you find that it's not working out for you, and you find that you want help to try to overcome these limiting beliefs and these self-sabotaging behaviors that hold you back from being the best that you can be, then I would be honored for you to check out the link wherever you're watching this. If you are listening to this on the podcast, I will have information wherever you're listening to this podcast. Let's talk about it. Maybe you need me to help you guide you through my framework, guide you through my system that I've guided hundreds of individuals through to help them to move through this part of their journey so that they can get on to achieving great and better things in their life. And if this sounds like something that you want to do and you need help, then make sure you check out the information. Otherwise, I'll see you in the LinkedIn Live event. I will see you in the new community leading in healthcare for more practical tips. And I'll see you next week for the next Mindset Monday. All right, take care. Bye.